Yeah, there we go.
All right, everybody, welcome. It's Cybertruck delivery day today. We're going to be live streaming the actual event that's happening. I'm going to just work it out right now. We've got Nicholas Gibbs with us and Randy Kirk. They both have their own YouTube channel. You can check them out there. Welcome, everybody. So let me go, and while you guys go take on this, while I'm going to go make sure that we get the live stream going here.
All right. Hopefully everybody can hear us well. Let us know in the chat if you can or can't. Randy, I hear you.
Do I come in loud and clear?
Perfectly clear. Perfectly clear.
Hopefully.
All right. This is, man, we're here.
Cybertruck Thursday.
This is insane. This day is finally here.
We'll be opening presents for hours.
Did you guys see this tweet that's circulating right now about the that Elon posted, the Cybertruck production line? I just saw it.
Yeah, I saw. I retweeted. I think I saw that Herbert did too.
Beautiful. Just wow.
Yeah, no kidding. Now we want to know how many per hour. That's could he have thrown that in just for fun?
Okay, so Nick, do I need to turn it on in my YouTube studio?
Is it not going? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's gone. Just us. We're live, but we want to connect with the actual group here.
I'm looking at your channel right now. Let me see. Nope. We're on. We're live.
Yeah,
we're live on YouTube.
We are live. Yeah, we are live. But what we want to do is connect to the actual event that they're putting on.
So on YouTube, it's live. On StreamYard, it's live. I don't know the answer for whatever Farzad and all of them are doing. I can't answer.
Yeah, because I've connected it to them, and I just need to turn this on somehow.
So you're trying to connect to Farzad's stream?
Yeah.
All right. So have you seen it on Farzad?
Hold on.
Let me look at his channel.
Okay. Well, let's recap here, Randy, while we're figuring this out. But basically, Cybertruck delivery event. This is a really, really big deal. Of course. This is something we've all been waiting for. I gave the whole kind of breakdown of every year when each of the Tesla vehicles have been launched, and it's basically every 2 or 3 years. And so from that perspective, the Cybertruck being launched today in November 2023, it's actually just been 3 years since the last product launch. And if you count the Model 3 Highland, which is a brand new vehicle because more than 50% of it, that was several months ago. So from that perspective, this is right in line. Tesla's been releasing products every 2 to 3 years. Now, of course, it is delayed. Yeah, no doubt. It's been delayed for 4 years, but you got to keep in mind that there was a supply chain issues, there was COVID issues. And then there was also the kind of the decision that if the Model 3 and Model Y were so successful, why would they kind of like launch this at that point? That was the thinking at that point. But right now, I don't know if you guys just saw, I'm going to go and put this out here, but Elon just tweeted a few minutes ago, the production line. This is crazy how incredible this is. And so I'm going to show that while you guys are chatting here a little bit, but it is amazing, this production line. So I actually think that the scaling is a lot more, possibly much more, much more faster than we all think. So have you guys seen this?
I saw the production line. I wasn't surprised that there is a production line. I don't think they would have had this day. I don't think they would have had the handoff if they were still building them by hand. So this is not a surprise that there is a production line. I think was a little surprised to see Elon tweeting it out before the actual handoff, indicating that things are moving along. I think that's what he's trying to say here. Things are moving along, but without context of how many per hour or how many per day. It's a great picture. It's exciting. It's fun. But boy, I'd sure like to know what the numbers are right now. That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like that the event will be live streamed from Farzad and so forth, but that will be an hour from now. So this is the pre-show. We've got Nick Gibbs and Randy Kirk with us, and of course myself. So please stick around. Let's chat. If you guys have any comments, send it out our way. Let's talk about all the different things. But yeah, did you guys see this? This is crazy. I mean, did you look at this? This is the photo that Elon just shared. I count at least 10. There's at least 10 there in a production line. What do you guys? What do you think, Nick? Is this more than we think, or you know?
I forget who I heard say yesterday, so I'm sorry if I can't give you credit, but actually it might have been on Randy's channel. But I kind of love the idea, or the the theory that employees have already taken delivery of their Cybertrucks, and this is all going to customers. And if that's the case, and I'm with Randy, I don't think they would hold this. This isn't like the semi event. I think people have heartburn from the semi event. This is to go into production. They're talking about ramping over the next 12 to 18 months to 250,000, right? This isn't a soft beta ramp launch. This is time to go, right? They've waited. And if anything, you can tell Elon's been way more cautious as of late on predictions and timelines, right? Just like FSD 12, he said 2 weeks. Guess what? It started going out to employees less than 2 weeks, actually. Yeah. Last night, he would not answer Andrew Ross Sorkin on the timeline. He didn't even bring up FSD 12. He's making a cognizant decision to not give timelines anymore. And I think the fact that, like, my point is, I think there might be more. There might only be 10 today, but they're not being hand built anymore. I'm with Randy on that. I think that they're going at scale. And this whole thing about automation, I've heard a few people say this, like, oh, there's still some parts that aren't automated. You don't automate it at the forefront of a production ramp, right? Elon has said this many times. That's what hurt them with the Model 3. You automate last. It's the last thing you do. So you need to go learn how to go from, tens, 20s to hundreds to thousands. And then that's where you slowly bring in automation as you learn, not just at the get-go, because you don't know what you don't know. And at scale, you learn a lot of things that you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, we have to chat about that.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Because, for some on your channel, I'm sure, Herbert, they don't know I was a manufacturer for 30 years. I was manufacturing a much simpler product, but I was a manufacturer. And there's no doubt you start with your basic line. Let's get the product made, perfect the product. And now, okay, can we throw a robot in here? Can we throw some kind of a faster tunnel in here? We had drying tunnels. Maybe you can need a faster drying tunnel. These are things that you do as you get into production in order to improve the product or to improve the amount of throughput that you can get. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Nick.
Well, okay, I'm going to push back, because let's take a quick look at this photo again. This is the photo that Elon Musk just tweeted out a few minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and he said this is the production line. But when I look at it, this does not look like a production line. It looks like kind of like just they're parked. These cars are parked. Look at that. That's like that's like a lobby foyer kind of ground there. It's not concrete or anything like that. So yeah, but he did call it a production line, so I will give him that. Yeah.
You have you been to the Austin factory?
Yes, I was there. Yeah.
Were you there when they did any of the tours?
Yes. Yeah.
So
I've been
how
twice.
yeah, so it seems like every time they do the tour, they pretty much show you where, the final checks are done, right? Where they
Yes.
have all this big, that's what this looks like to me. It looks like that section of the factory.
Yeah, I think so. Agree with you.
Okay. What do you guys take about his comment when he was interviewed yesterday at the, what is Sorkin, right? Sorkin at the Deal Book in New York Times. And he was asked, and he said, I don't remember what party, but he did say that the Cybertruck event is going to be the greatest product launch ever around the world for this year. Right? What was he trying to say there?
Yeah, I certainly think that he's probably right. Now, the greatest on what criteria? He didn't say the criteria. Will it be the largest dollar volume launch this year? I don't know. You've got that Boeing what is it, the 707,307? I don't know. Anyway, but the latest Boeing jet that just sold a huge number at the air show that might do more volume. I don't know. But will it be the most followed event? Oh yeah, I think so. I think if that's what he means by the greatest product launch, yeah, I think it'll be maybe historically it could be near the top of product launches.
Yeah, I think it's literally the greatest launch this year on many levels. I mean, the Boeing, I didn't even know about that, right? And I feel like I tend to know about a lot of these things. Can you guys name another? I mean,
Well, the Apple, usually those are the greatest product launches ever, but we haven't had one forever.
yeah, but even then, like, I mean, listen, I used to be a big Apple investor as well, but they you see these events, yeah, they're great and all, and we go in there with so much hope, and then we just get let down, right?
Well,
Like,
we have these headsets. We have the headset events. So
yeah,
Apple had their headset event. I think that was pretty well received. But then you've got the Microsoft, or I'm sorry, the Meta headset, which is the one I'm probably going to buy here fairly soon, or have somebody buy me for Christmas.
yeah. I guess my point though is nobody's talking about any of these other ones.
Right.
People have been talking about this Cybertruck launch since 3 years ago, right? 4 years ago. I mean, people have been talking about this nonstop, and this year it's been ramping up in conversation. The news media, they've talked about the Cybertruck nonstop. CNBC, half of their coverage is on Elon and his shenanigans, and the other half is on how ugly the Cybertruck is. So yeah, this is, name another product that they talked about during Andrew Ross Orkin's deal desk yesterday. None. All they talked about was this. I mean, I don't even know if they touched on Grace Hopper with Nvidia and I don't know why I'm blanking on Nvidia CEO's name right now, but they didn't even really dive too much into any of that yet. We talk about the Cybertruck. We all know about the Cybertruck this morning. Obviously, we're talking about Cybertruck. Last week, we were talking about Cybertruck. Quarterly earnings. Every time they ask about Cybertruck, listen. I don't think he meant like by revenue or any of that. No product launch is about the size of the revenue ever. It's a product launch. It's about like that's the beginning of scale. So I don't know why some people are saying this. I mean, it's been saying it all morning on CNBC, like, oh, it's definitely not the biggest ever or anything like that. I don't know. They're trying to find reasons to naysay, but it's everybody knows about this. There's lines out at showrooms to look at this before we can even get into it. Like, this is stealing headlines. This is not. It's even biased. Like, it's biased to say it's not, in my opinion. Like,
Well,
just be
okay,
factual.
so some people are saying that because of the interview yesterday, what people are talking about today is not necessarily the Cybertruck. They were talking about his statement about the advertisers, I won't repeat it now, but we all know it. But anyway,
can do it.
Did that take over? Did that kind of overshadow? Instead of people coming in saying the best statement that came out of that interview yesterday was that the Cybertruck delivery event the launch is going to be the best product launch ever in the world this year. I have not read anybody write about that except for us.
Oh yeah, I saw. So Herbert, I do that morning show where I spend an hour and 10 minutes reading the news before that show is produced, and so I see all the headlines. I see hundreds of headlines in that hour, and there were people that were talking about that statement as well. But no, it was tremendously overshadowed, especially last night. It was softer this morning. There wasn't as much because this morning the PCE index, was kind of taking over, and the OPEC oil issue. So the whole advertising statement that was all over the news last night, but not as much this morning. But still, I look at that kind of stuff. What was that? What was the famous fight that took place between a couple of was it Fox and CNBC or MSNBC, somebody a couple of years ago, and the two anchors were going at each other, and both of their ratings were just exploding. There's the old PR line, just make sure you spell my name right.
Gotcha. So you think even though they were talking about Elon Musk, at least they were talking about Elon Musk?
That's right.
So, okay, so the product's going to come out today. We're going to learn about the details. We got to talk about the leak, by possibly the leak. I think that it was not by Marcus Brownlee. He showed a photo, and I could bring that up, of
I
the
want to talk about
range,
it.
right? The range. I don't think that was a leak. I'll bring that up. But what do you guys think? I mean, could there be an Optimus robot, right? So, a DRK was bringing this up and saying maybe that they're on the lineup, but they're going to come out using Summon. These are like hopeful. I can't believe, DRK, you're more optimistic than I am. That's funny. I thought I was the most optimistic. I'm toning it down, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what are we expecting? Are we expecting it for him to make that statement? I think it has to be more features that we haven't heard yet. That's going to shock the world. I mean, otherwise, yeah, you're right. Maybe the interest is already there, and so maybe that's all it is. It's just what it is now. Some people are saying that he might shock the world with the prices, because that's not been out there yet. So we got two things to talk about here. Which one do you guys want to take on first? Nick, choose one that you want to address. I'm going to find the photos here.
I want to talk about the range, but I want to hear Randy's take first because I know everyone's going to think, Nick's smoking some opium.
So I very specifically have not taken a position on the range because I listened to all of the other positions on the range and none of them impressed me. And I don't have any knowledge myself. I don't have any on the ground, information to report. So I'm hoping, what my statement was, I'm hoping that even the base car, whatever the base car is, has over 300 miles of range. That's my hopium. I don't want to see this particular vehicle have less than 300, but that's me.
But you saw the picture that I think Herbert's looking for right now by Marquise, right?
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
Only that. So this morning, I don't know if you guys saw the latest. I'm sure you did because you guys are on top of all this stuff. But it was like, okay, if it's 287 or whatever the number was, that was the range when he's driving it around. But then therefore the range actually is probably over 300 or at 300. So yeah, I'll be okay if it's 300. I'll be okay if it's 299. I think it'd be stupid to be at 299.
Okay. Let me set the stage. Let me set the stage for the people who don't know. But this came out yesterday. Marcus Brownlee, he's a famous YouTuber, has 125 million followers. He's probably second in line to somebody like a Mr. Beast. He was given the Cybertruck to be playing around with for 30 days. The last month he's been doing this. He's creating a video. It's going to come out. It's going to be a big hit. He released this post on X yesterday, and he showed himself driving the truck. And it says, hold up. And he does that, right? But look in the top right here, the screen is partially shown. And if you so then Dylan Loomis has his own YouTube channel called Electrified. He says, I can see 265 miles of range. This has been displayed. You better switch over to percentage real quick. He replies and says, I have all the numbers and precious details with this video. So it could be a very masterful way to kind of reply back to a oops mistake, or maybe it wasn't an oops mistake. So let's take a closer look. Here's the actual screenshot. You can see here 265. So if I look even closer, oops, I'm sorry. I've got to grab my other photo. So sorry, guys. So while I do that, but basically, do you guys think that was a mistake, or was it, purposely planned?
Can I paint my theory about what may have happened?
Yeah.
Not saying I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong, but hear me out. I think that if you see how he spelt it, it's HOL up, right? He didn't say hold up. He said hole up. Another way to read that is haul. HOL could spell like haul. And what do you do with the truck? You haul things with the truck. HAUL. I think there's a chance he was being punny here.
No.
Hear me out. Just run with this. It's a truck. Okay? It's a truck. If Marquise is testing this for all metrics and everything, he's going to test it with load. You're not going to test a truck and not test it with load. And I would be shocked if Tesla does not have a way to show you range when you've got a full load in the bed. So what I'm saying is there's a chance that there's a load in the bed, and what he's showing is 265. Let me further this. I bet you that Tesla explicitly told everybody who had these trucks to only show percentage and nothing else if they're going to show anything. And I bet you he reached out and said, hey, guys, I have this idea that might stir some drama. Would this be okay if I show range in this type of context where I have a load just to stir up some drama? And I could easily see people wanting to check that through Elon. And Elon said, sure, why not? Because that's something that Elon would do. So this is kind of my theory. Not saying I'm right, but it could check out.
It could check out.
I like your theory, except for the whole part. That one didn't.
Yeah.
That didn't grab me.
Agreed. But so right. So first of all, okay, let's start with this. Marcus Brownlee is a professional. This guy, you look at his videos, it is absolutely just perfect. And that's what he does, is he reviews these products and cars. He's been doing it for decades. And so he's not going to make a mistake. That I just seriously doubt that was a mistake. Now, when you look closely, it says 265 miles, and it looks like that there's 9 bars. And so some people are going, well, if you add the 10th bar, that would be around 300 miles. That's about where it's going to be, right? And then some people were saying maybe it's 11 bars, because you know how Elon likes to talk about spinal tap, which is to turn up the volume to 11. But somebody else showed another screenshot that showed that that's not this only goes up to 10. I don't have that screenshot. But anyways, I agree with you. I think that was a setup. It was us for people to start talking about it. Except having said that, no one's talking about it except us.
But do you think there's a chance though that there's a load in that truck?
Oh, very, very likely. He's going to be testing everything. Yeah.
But people are dismissing that. Like, people are like, no, that's not it. Like, that's just hoping. Like, I don't get that. That if you're testing a truck, one of the first things you're testing is its range with load capacity, because otherwise, what's the point of it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're right. You're right, Jim Farley, or you're right, whoever else. This is just a show car. Show truck.
So, okay. Yeah. So let me ask a couple of questions. One is that this has to be cheaper than F-150. Because he came out and said that the F-150 is a fantastic car, it's just not priced correctly. It's too expensive. So he can't come out there with something less, right? And two, in order for it to make him hit, does it not have to be better capability than trucks in general? Towing capability, range capability, the strength of this thing. It's got to be bulletproof, that he can say this is better than any truck ever.
Well, you can't, you're not going to have 100% of every single possible, spec be better than every other spec of every other whatever vehicle in the world. You have to make choices. You have, in any product, you're always making these choices, especially as something as complex as this truck is going to be on so many levels. So you pick and choose, I'm going to give up a little bit of this in order to get some range, or I'm going to, do this, which will be so much better than another truck, but I just don't have the money left over to do this thing over here. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. I think we already know enough to know that it's going to be, I'm not an off-roader. I've never owned a truck, but I'm going to just say it straight up. Not having to worry about the vehicle getting scratched or banged around on the construction site or out on the off-road situation, that alone is huge, just huge.
No paint chips, none of that crap. No. Like, not dealing with any of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really, really big. And then again, if you're talking about, I did a video the other day that was extremely poorly received. So please go back and look at that video, you guys, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, where I listed 9 different potential customers for this truck, and each one of those customers has got something completely different in mind. The farmer doesn't want the same thing as the soccer mom. I think this is going to be a great truck for soccer moms. My wife is the one that has got the order, not me. And she's an English professor. Okay.
Really? No, honestly, she was the one that said, I want to buy this truck.
Wants it, and she wants it in matte black. and she wants it to.
Why? Why does she want
Why
it?
does she? Well, first of all, she said safety. So I've talked to lots of women. Lots of
No
women
doubt.
love trucks and other vehicles that sit up high.
Yes,
They
true.
feel safer in them. Okay.
Yeah.
And then all of the Tesla vehicles are the safest cars on the road. That's why she wanted the Model Y initially, until she got into it and said, "This is a spaceship. I feel sorry for everybody else that doesn't have one of these." And but then she saw the Cybertruck and was like, "No, I'll trade this on I'll trade my Y in on a Cybertruck when it comes out." And it's partially safety. I think partially it's just it's an impressive statement. It's let's face it, it's going to be a statement for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I would say very similar sentiment with my wife. When she found out it was bulletproof, that's when she was like, "I want that," and not because she thinks it's cool, but because it's safe. No matter. I mean, you don't know what's happening anywhere these days. Craziness out there, but in that, she would feel like, I don't care. I could go anywhere alone. If I'm in that, it doesn't matter. I'm fine. I know I'm fine. Right. I mean, she's just a, little like 5'3" girl, it's like in this world, in many ways, she's, vulnerable. And in something like this, she feels safe, sits up high. You can shoot at me. It's fine. I'm going to be safe. We can crash. And I hope they're okay if I crash. Right. Like it matters to women a lot when it comes to safety.
True.
And my wife is a designer. She designs museums, hotels, stadiums, right? I don't want to name the company she works for because it's, I'll say, one of the biggest in the world, but she knows design. She knows really good design. And when she saw it in person, she said essentially what we all said. This does not resonate online. This does not resonate in pictures. And she, much like what many other people were talking about, she was noticing, the subtle curvatures. She was talking about how all of the lights are recessed. You don't really see that in cars ever. Like all these little things she was pointing out that are just striking, that you don't really appreciate until you see it in person. So I think women will definitely gravitate towards this.
So I just looked it up, and it says that 93% of buyers of trucks are male. 93%. And then you're right. Okay. And regarding that, there was a sculptor that put a post, right? He went in, took a look at the Cybertruck, and he said, people think that the Cybertruck is this, flat steel, flat glass, and it's boxy, right? And he goes, actually, no, as a sculptor, I can see that the hood is actually curved, that the windshield is curved, that the edges on the side are curved. And so there's this unique combination of both this. It looks from the pictures, it looks like it's a straight line, but actually when you see that, you'll see these details that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so subtle that you can't see it in the picture.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw one more thought in with regard to my wife, who's a grandma, and she says, my grandson is going to want to ride in this vehicle. There's no question that he's going to be really excited to jump in this car.
even the kids.
The kids have been in love with Tesla forever, but can you imagine? I mean, I've got a bunch of grandkids, and when I drive over there, they want to get in the Model Y, sure. But this is going to be on a whole nother level where they're going to want to. This one, they might actually let you drive them up to the front of the junior high to let them off.
Oh yeah,
it's so
for
cool.
Sure.
It is so cool. So do you guys agree with the statement that it doesn't almost, so we are all Tesla fans and we all believe this truck is beautiful, it's going to succeed, but it's very polarizing. There's a whole group of people that think it's really, really ugly. And then, in fact, I played a clip of a CNBC announcer saying that this is the kind of product that once you buy, you'll love it, and then a few days later, you'll think it's so ugly, and you get tired of it and embarrassed with it. And like, what? But obviously he's lying. That's not his true opinion. He's just saying it. But there are people who think that this is an ugly truck. But is this a small segment of people who think it's amazing and it'll take off no matter what? Because it's always good to have segmentation, right?
Can I push back on that?
Yeah.
I don't. The words you're using, I think, are incorrect, and everybody uses them.
Hmm.
There are people who haven't seen it in person, and
Hmm.
then there are people who have seen it in person.
Hmm.
People who have seen it in person love it. I've yet to
Hmm.
meet someone who's seen it in person and have that reaction that, oh, it's the ugliest thing ever. So the way I look at it, people have seen it in person and people who haven't. That's the dichotomy here.
What was the biggest selling vehicle in total unit sales of all time up until just recently? I think it was something called a Volkswagen Bug.
Bug. The Bug.
To me,
Yep.
that's the ugliest car of all time. And when the
But
Toyotas and
cute.
Nissans first started showing up in America, I was like, puke. Those are really dorky and ugly. No, I like round cars. I like, I like Jaguar, sedans and XKEs, but hey, this is future. This is a futuristic machine that has its purpose built. It's designed to fit a purpose. And if I was an off-roader, if I was a construction guy, if I was a farmer, if I was somebody that wanted to get a lot of ladies to pay attention to me as I'm driving around West LA, I'd be all about this truck.
I'm not any of those, and I want this truck. I'm all about this truck. I think it's the single, like, it's not often I look at a car and I forget which one of Elon's kids said it, but it's spot on. Why doesn't the future look like the future? This looks like we're in the future. And as a technologist and somebody who's been into and in for work technology essentially my whole life, like this is the first thing that's like, oh wow, this is what it's supposed to look like. It feels like I'm there. Like I love, my Model Y, but it doesn't look like the future. Inside, it feels like the future inside,
Inside.
but outside, it
Yeah.
doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
This looks like it inside and out.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's definitely a whole group of people who want different, who want new, who want the future, and there's a group that don't. But it almost doesn't matter, correct? Because there are, let's say, 2 million reservations of the truck. They might only produce 250,000 for the first year by next year, right? Maybe it goes up to 500,000. And this is 2 years from now. It almost doesn't matter because Tesla will sell every single truck that they ever can make. Even once they start producing 1 million a year, they'll sell all of it. Like, what I mean? There's enough of the market out there that's going to buy this. And then the big question mark, which actually is positive for Tesla investors and Tesla folks, is that it could go way beyond the sales of what F-150 sells. Do you guys know what is the sales of F-150 per year?
One of the trucks has been over 1 million per year. I don't remember which one it was because again, I'm not a truck guy.
Yeah, F-150 is 726,000 F series
currently
per year, about 900,000 the company total. Yeah,
for
about
all
1 million.
of the F series.
Yes.
the whole F series.
Yeah. So, my point is that Tesla will be able to sell 1 million of these per year because of just the Tesla fan base. And then it goes beyond the Tesla fan base, but you don't need to appease to every single human out there. There's going to be huge people that hate it. That's fine.
Yeah. And there's something else. Again, I don't remember. I watched too many channels. It might have been yours, Randy. But somebody was talking about how cops and military, whatever. I think it was you, Randy. Will want to buy. Oh, it was you. Okay, sorry, Herbert. It was you. Will want to buy this in droves. And whoever you were interviewing responded with, "Well, the glass isn't bulletproof." And it's like,
Yeah,
that's not the point. Like you completely missed the point. What do cops do whenever they're in a shootout? They hide behind their door. They use their door. But when those doors are not really bullet resistant, guess what? That makes a difference.
And at the Joe Rogan interview, Elon specifically spent 2 minutes talking about that when people hide behind those doors in those movies and then they're shot through, it goes right through it. He said that, right? He actually spent a lot of
Yeah.
time. So that's my thing. I think that there might be an announcement about some sort of police or military order, but they can't let these police orders go ahead of the
Mm,
retail investors,
why
can they?
not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
of
might.
course you
Would you?
can. I would.
Would you?
Yeah, I think public safety, doing the thing for the greater good for humanity matters more than me getting mine so I can just put it in my garage and say I have one. Yeah,
Well,
And
absolutely.
all this
and
talk we
what you
just
might
had
also,
about segmentation, sorry, Randy, all this talk about segmentation, it almost doesn't matter as well because we're talking about public buying it. But if it's pretty obvious for many of us, right, that the police and military is going to buy this thing like in droves. This thing is going to be the main car that they're all going to be driving around. If
I'm
it's,
actually,
yeah.
I'm shocked that they aren't already all driving Teslas. I mean,
Well, they
the
are
test,
like
the
many are
current,
buying Teslas, yeah, because they're
many
so
are,
fast. Yeah.
but I don't understand why it hasn't become. First of all, just from the standpoint of the environment, you would think that the states and the cities that have liberal management would be looking for something that's going to reduce CO2 and be something that is virtue signaling. And yet you don't see the cities and the states and even the US government buying these electric vehicles in droves. This has been shocking me for years. Well, when this thing is available, just because, again, the looks, how many police officers do you know? One of the reasons most of them go into the business is to wear the uniform. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just playing here, but there's a certain part of military and police work where it's the uniform and the sense of the power that you project when you're wearing a uniform. Well, there's not going to be another vehicle on the road that's going to project power like this vehicle.
So Nick, you actually did a tweet. You went to the actual, the showroom and you saw it. You brought your wife there. You took a video of it, and then Elon replied to you. He actually replied to your tweet. Yep. And Nick, when you were there, wasn't what when I've been seeing it from all the reports I've been seeing, people who watch this thing, it is flawless. These Cybertrucks in the showrooms are flawless. Like you just impressed with how amazing the lines fit and everything like that. Somebody told me though, well, of course they're going to be flawless. These are the ones that they selected to be in the showrooms. Or do you think that they've solved the issue that this is how it's coming out? This is they're all going to be this perfect.
Um, I don't know. I don't think they're all going to be perfect. I mean, I think nothing's perfect, right? So there's always going to be flaws and errors and little things that don't go right. I mean, this is metal at the end of the day. Not every, you know, metals, especially this is an alloy. So, some you just don't know different heat temperatures, weather's changing. Like there's anything could happen. A number of things could happen. But I think that they have a commitment, and obviously Elon has stress, down to what is a micron level of perfection. Yeah, they're making a big effort, and I think we've seen over time that they've learned how to become better and better and have less panel gaps and be more consistent. And you're seeing that go into the Cybertrucks. It's not like just because Tesla comes out with a new vehicle, there's going to be panel gaps everywhere. Like this, this is silly. Yes, they used to have panel gaps. Why? They were brand new to this. They were learning. They've gotten better. You don't see that happen really anymore. Not saying that every vehicle is perfect, but it's gotten a lot better. So I think people are making a lot of nothing with this. It's going to be better than what every other vehicle they've ever launched. The panel gaps and all that will be better than what that's ever been, and they'll get better as they scale.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt. I don't know that I ever noticed a panel gap until 2 years ago. It's like in my whole life, and I've owned a lot of cars, and I'm a car guy, and I don't think that I ever cared, looked, paid attention, or noticed a panel gap. So not sure it matters a ton, except now it's become a thing. we don't pop our hoods anymore and show off our V8. Now we'll go, hey, look at the panel gap on here. Isn't that the best panel gap you've ever seen?
Yeah. Hey, Herbert, sorry, let me live my conspiracy theory here a little bit longer before it may get disproven. Do you have that Marquise photo? So could you pull it up real quick?
Hold on. Just before, I'm going to do that in a second, but I want to update the folks who've joined the live stream here. Today's Cybertruck delivery event. It's going to start in an hour and a bit from now. But what I wanted to share with folks is that this morning, Elon shared a tweet with a photo of the production line. So he sent this morning and said that this is the Cybertruck production line. He shows a photo. Oops.
Your chat open. No.
What chat? Oh, gotcha.
Larry Goldberg. We've all been there.
Nothing fancy. No worries. Okay, so this is the tweet that he just said this morning. It's a Cybertruck production line. It looks like there's about 10 of them, and I can't see further back here, but it looks like it's pretty big deal. That's a big deal. I mean, he's showing this is a production line. Which means that they're not all necessarily handmade and all that. Okay, so while we're doing that, I'll bring up the next image that you're saying about Marquis.
Yeah.
Image.
And
so
while you just said we can't see further back, we also can't see in front either. We don't know if there's more up front.
Oh, right. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is
countdown.
Okay, so this is his tweet. Yeah.
Okay.
Marcus Brownlee tweeted this out yesterday, and it showed him in a Cybertruck because he's been testing the Cybertruck for 30 days. He's going to do a video, but on the right there, you can see the screen, and it shows, a little bit of information. If you look closely, it says 265 miles. Okay, what's your theory again?
All right, maybe it's not a theory. I'm just curious. What do you think? What do you think that blue box underneath that's coming from the range? You notice it's like coming, if you track it, there's like a line going towards the 265. I'm just curious if that's indicating that it's towing something, if there's something in the bed. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, and I get it. I'm playing conspiracy theory, but I think it's okay and safe because it's only an hour away.
Well, there was a lot of talk, Nick, about various ways that as the range thing got more and more sophisticated, that it was going to be taking into consideration weather, taking into consideration, all kinds of factors. So to your point,
absolutely,
it would be obvious that if you're using a truck to haul and to tow, that you'd want your range to take into consideration that activity. Otherwise, what good is a rangefinder at all?
Exactly. Otherwise, you're driving blind,
Right.
right? You don't know your range. But I think that's just a very different symbol just to be there out of nowhere. And to me, that looks like an indication like, hey, this is just to let you know visually, this is assuming what you're towing behind you. Like that's kind of what that looks like to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely off my rocker here, but what else would that be?
And we don't know what it says. Tap to activate something.
Well, that's to drive. It always says that. Tap to activate to drive. Okay. But that's a different symbol, and it's coming straight down from the range.
Interesting.
Maybe something, maybe nothing. Maybe. It's worth at least having some fun here. It is the day of.
Yeah, somebody said brake pedal. I don't know.
Man.
Yes, brake pedal.
That'd be red. That'd be red, not blue. There are certain things that are standard in industry. Like that would be red.
Okay. So
anyways,
Randy, why don't you share with us what might happen to the stock? So typically we've seen the stock rise in anticipation of a big event, and then it falls on the day of or the day afterwards. What's your expectation for this one?
Well,
having said that,
hope it doesn't fall after.
I just threw out a video this morning saying, what the heck happened? This is the weirdest day in the stock market in a couple of months. I mean, the PCE came in strong and the bonds went up. I mean, the bond yields went up. the PCE numbers came in strong, and the NASDAQ dropped like a rock, and the Cathie Wood, risky stocks also dropped. I mean, NVIDIA is down this morning. Meta is the entire Magnificent Seven is down. Most of them are down more than Tesla this morning. Then you've got Tesla with their Cybertruck day. It was up so nicely. What was that, Tuesday? Nice big gain on Tuesday, only then to have it fall apart yesterday and then be down. How does that affect my thinking about this afternoon and tomorrow? Normally we think, oh, we'll be going up on the FOMO, and then we'll all be disappointed in some way, shape, or form, and we'll have the sell-off on the afternoon or in the after hours, or we'll see the sell-off on Friday. Well, now we haven't had so much FOMO. So does that mean that it's going to take more to disappoint? Does that mean that if it just comes in kind of even with people's expectations, that maybe we won't see much activity tomorrow and we'll just follow the NASDAQ around like we have been for the most of the latter part of October and beginning of November? Or will we have something that really beats, something that's just bigger than we're expecting, more than expected, like you say, the surprise that we're always anticipating there will be? Or will it be my favorite? It'll be Optimus will do something that will generate the enthusiasm.
Well, let me ask you both this question, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. What time did you guys think this was actually going to start?
Right. Good question. Usually the delivery event is after hours. Almost always product events happen after hours. Why did they do this an hour before after hours of stock
Weird.
trading?
It's a very good question.
What do you think? So it must be something good news. Like what would be the good news? If the prices of the truck, this is the weird part. If the price of the truck is high, investors should be happy because high margins. Right. If the price of the truck is low, everybody should be happy because it's like, oh my God, this thing's going to just crazily beat anything out there.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, they were just trying to schedule it between bands of rain coming in. Who knows? But I don't know. It seems like it might be something. And I think we'll definitely know if it's something if it actually starts on time, because that never happens either. If that starts on time, that's going to be like, all right, what's happening here? Everything's different. So,
well, I guess I hope that Elon is in a good mood, because obviously yesterday's interview, he was angry, he was defiant. There was that tone in his voice that wasn't that relaxed tone for some reason. And this is supposed to be his friend, the guy that was interviewing him, but he let him get away with some questions that, just trying to get him to say something negative. But I didn't like that Elon was not relaxed, not laughing, not happy like he normally is. And so hopefully today he will be joyous.
I don't know how much they're friends
anymore.
Yeah. Andrew, listen, I've watched Squawk Box every morning for 17 years. Yeah. All right. I've spent almost half my life with Andrew, Joe, and Becky. Yeah. I can tell you right now, Andrew does not ever take his maybe not anti, but his he has a certain perception of Elon and the way he does things. And it tends to be Joe who defends Elon, which is hilarious to see that happen. But he's very critical. He sees things from his lens, his opinions. He doesn't criticize Elon from a true unbiased reporter perspective. It's not what he does. Like he gives it a hard time. So I would not say that they're friends. He is friendly enough where he said, "Hey, I'll do this" months ago, and he showed up as he was supposed to. But I don't know. I just take that with a grain of salt. And honestly, I don't think he was angry when he was there. I think he was kind of like, "You want to hear from me? I'll let you know exactly what I think. Like, no worries. I have no qualms about this. Like, I'll tell you. I'll call a spade, and it's time that we change this up. Enough of this BS with what's his name? Oh gosh, Sam Brickman-Fried. Like all this stuff of this, we're gonna act like we're doing good, and we're going
Right.
to just do all this stuff to kowtow to certain people, and pretending like
Yeah.
we're doing great rather than actually doing good things. And he's like, enough of this. Like, it's time someone calls us out. And if it's not going to be people doing the right things, I guess it's got to be me. Just like with space, if people aren't going to try to go to Mars, well, I guess it's got to be me. If these car companies aren't going to make EVs, well, I guess it's got to be me. I think it's just that. I think it's like, well, I guess I got to set the world straight, and I got to tell it like it is. And if you're going to do good, do it. Don't talk about it, be about it, and do it. Walk the walk.
So a couple of pieces of breaking news. Number one, just to follow up on the stock issue, the stock now is down the most it's been all day, as is the NASDAQ, as are the Magnificent Seven. So it's continuing to be that crazy day. And the second thing is that Sawyer Merritt just posted that the passes at the cyber event are in stainless steel. So he thought that was pretty good. I'm wondering if they're buying them from the same factory that that made this. Possibly that's what they do.
I doubt they're buying them. I'm sure they're using recycled stainless steel that they have.
Okay, so that's a good sign, right? Because obviously this is not just a regular event. Tesla and Elon is treating it with the respect that they believe it deserves. That's a good sign. I mean, obviously, it's everything they do is really, really cool, but that's important that they did this.
I've often wished that they really hired an event manager. I don't want it to be dry speeches they're events.
When I was there at the Giga Austin, Texas speech, outside was drones flying. They had these giant sculptures that were moving. They had an actual Tesla, Nikola Tesla electrical bulbs. Like, I'm talking giant building size
Tesla coil.
that were a Tesla coil that was actually having electricity going back and forth. This was mind blowing. That event was crazy.
I'm talking about the speechifying, the
presentation.
The presentation itself. Yeah, they do amazing things. Are you kidding? I haven't had the pleasure of attending any of the events yet, but watching them on the television, which is where most folks are going to see it, or watching it on the screen. You're going to mostly be, the drone thing was amazing. I loved it, but you're mostly going to be concentrating on the messaging. And I like that they have the senior executives all get up and talk.
Yes.
And I realize nobody's ever going to do it as good as Steve Jobs did when he did it. But in fact, Apple doesn't do it as well as Steve Jobs did. So, but I think there was a level of professionalism that could be injected that would be helpful.
Okay, I disagree. Sorry, Andy, because I'm a big Steve Jobs fan. The guy has been my mentor and somebody I looked up to, and everything is amazing about what he does. He's the best presenter in the world, absolutely. I think Elon Musk is probably not only second, he could eventually be better than Steve Jobs, because yes, he stutters. Yes, he kind of has this, he's not this polished, guy with his suit on or whatever, but he is telling you about the vision of the future. He's talking about what the world ought to be. That gets me and many people, Tesla fans here, very, very excited, because we resonate with that kind of optimistic view. And then he shows you mind-blowing, like he said, right? We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to show you. And one of the things he said yesterday's interview was he finally said the things he needed to say, which is, why aren't people recognizing that Tesla is the number one contributor to, global, sustainable energy? All of our cars together is double what everybody else is, combined, all that kind of things he finally said, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, it's about inspiring the audience, and he does a very good job of repeat. Now, he repeats himself a lot, but that is part of communication. It gets out there and people know what Elon Musk stands for, what Tesla stands for. So I don't know. I think he's very, very effective as a presenter. I know that a lot of people, like my wife, thinks that he stutters too much. He's not a great speaker, but maybe I'm different. I think he's amazing. I'll be like sitting there going, loving it.
So Nick, I'll let you get in a second, but I need to respond. Please differentiate what I said about the general presentation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything about Elon's presentation. You've heard me say, I know, Herbert, I've written in my books about
you
Elon.
got 3 books on Elon Musk.
He is absolutely maybe
Yeah.
one of the greatest communicators of all time.
You have said that,
in terms of communicating the vision, in terms of communicating the product, in terms of communicating what, motivating the customer, motivating the supplier, motivating the employees, motivating, the world, motivating world leaders. No, I have nothing but praise in terms of his ability to motivate and his ability to present. No, I'm saying the overall, that's all I'm talking about. It's the overall presentation could be, it's probably only a 10 or 20% thing, but it could be more professional.
So I have very strong feelings about this. Not particularly what you said, Randy, but it's just something that I have really started to think is very, I can't think of a better word than cringe. Like you just see it now and you're like, oh my God, this is just like awful to watch. And what I'm talking about is watching Apple events now. I've felt like this for a number of years now.
Yeah.
And during this last event, my wife,
Yes.
I had her watch it. And I've never given this opinion to her. It's just something I've always felt and thought to myself. Never even thought it was worth like mentioning because, well, who cares? And she said it out loud. And my eyes opened wide, like, oh my God, this is exactly how I feel. And what she said was the Tesla events are like real. They're like
Human,
organic. It's not like this fake puppet show, everything perfectly scripted and seems fake. Like it's like we're not children here. You're talking to us like we're idiots. Like everything has to be so dumbed down for us and sanitized, right? And Steve Jobs never did that either.
He didn't.
Steve Jobs spoke and on stage and bring me the product. And hey, if it screws up, and it screws up.
Remember the
Apple
phone call to the Domino's Pizza?
Yeah.
The phone call to Johnny Ive, the very first phone call. I mean, they were like, just oops, mistake.
Do you remember? Do you remember everybody turn off your Wi-Fi? Everybody get off the Wi-Fi? Like, yeah. Like
it's real.
But exactly, it's like that. That is so important. And so I'm not sure exactly what, Randy, it is that you would tweak. I would say that I'm sure it could be better. It can always be iterated on, but that aspect of it, the realness of it, I would never want to get rid of that.
Well, the realness is the part of Elon that I'm talking about. That's why he's such a great communicator. In this current age, there is nothing like transparency. There's nothing like being who you really are. I think that's the only reason my channel succeeds at all. Because what else is there on my channel except the real Randy? That's all you're going to get. The optimist of the decade. But yeah, so I'm all about that. I'm all about mistakes are fine. I got no problem with mistakes. I have done 275 trade shows. I have done, I can't tell you how many public speaking engagements. I've done presentations, for my company, the companies I've owned. I've had people come in for presentations. There's a level in between there is what I'm talking about. Yeah. You don't want to lose the realness, but there is a way to just polish it up a little bit. Maybe it's practicing a little bit before you do it or something.
True.
They don't do that.
It is true though that Tesla's one of the weakest links that they do have, I think most people will agree, is communication on the earnings call, just communication in general. But yeah, I
think Elon Tesla's take on it is much like marketing and advertising. It's like it's a waste of money. I don't want to spend a lot of money on this. I mean, you hear every time they do any presentation or whatever, it's like, yeah, we literally just shot this last night. And like they say that all the time. Like you could tell that they're like, hey, all right, this is the week of the event, let's put a video together, everybody, each department do your thing, and yeah, we got a week to do this. Whereas Apple, for example, that I'm picking on Apple. Just to be fair, I'm an Apple fanboy. Apple is the first stock I ever invested in. Everything in front of me right now is Apple, so I love Apple. But but yeah, my point is they spent probably millions and millions of dollars on that last presentation. So, but I think that's a big part of it too. Is like it's not efficient, it's not worth the time, and this is good enough. I think that's a big element of it. And probably Elon probably thinks the product and what we're talking
Yeah.
about should speak
That's
for
what
itself,
matters.
just like
Yep.
the cars should sell themselves, speak for themselves without advertising.
So, what are the 3 demonstrations? I've been asking this every time I have a chance to talk to people. What are the 3 demonstrations that they're going to show? Nick, I haven't heard from you. What is your thinking? What are you going to expect them to show today?
Hold on. Okay. All right. So Farzad's channel just went live. Cyber after party. Maybe try pressing live now, Herbert. This is the behind the scenes for everybody in YouTube Studio. You said that there's is there a way for you to press live there? See if it. I don't. I'm guessing. By the way, I have no idea how Farzad set this up. Anyways, while we troubleshoot this, there's nothing actually playing on Farzad's channel for everybody, so don't rush over there. This should be streaming onto his channel eventually, I believe is the idea. So while Herbert figures all that out, the 3 things I haven't really thought about this. If I had to make some speculation, obviously we know the Tommy gun that better be in there.
Now that would be a video or live.
Oh, I would love for it to be live. I would do it live personally. I see no reason not to do it live. But that will be one. I think another one will be the impact test, the crash test.
Oh.
And then maybe the last, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe there will be another third one that I just can't think of, but I really hope that they do the stainless steel ball test again.
Yeah.
You got to get some redemption.
Yeah, I have a slightly different list than yours, but I agree with all 3 of yours. One is I would like to see the truck in a live race right there, with a Corvette. I think Corvette would be the perfect vehicle. Get not the new E-Vet, but the best vet they've got, even if it wins, okay, by a hair, I wouldn't care. It'd be okay. But bring out the top vet that's available right now and put it live as the quarter mile race to see what happens. I think that would be huge. I would like to see some kind of off-road demonstration, something that shows its versatility in weird circumstances. Whether and again, maybe that's all got to be on video, but maybe they've got a couple of things they could do that would be live, that would be fun. And then, of course, number 3 is Optimus doing something with the truck live, 100%.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Oh, can I throw another one in there? A F-150 Lightning and Cybertruck tug of war.
Repeat the tug of war.
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
With a Lightning instead of an ice truck.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but I know what Elon on Joe Rogan, he said 3. Is that what it was? Is that why you're saying 3 only?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he said there'd be 3 demos?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So hopefully there's more. I want to see all these. Yeah, Optimus. I do hope that there's something with Optimus, something subtle. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just, I don't know, give Optimus a little love. It's been a minute.
I think he should plug himself into the truck.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, there's a few other people have been. Of course, everybody thinks he should drive the vehicle out. That Optimus should be the one driving it. And that shouldn't be that hard because, like you said, we could use summon and it would just look like Optimus was driving it. But open the door for Elon when he arrives. That would be a good one. Yeah, I'd love to see Elon. I want to see Optimus doing something extremely useful, extremely obvious that it would suggest that he can do many other it could do
Okay.
many other things that would be useful. But
Okay,
yeah,
Nick. So I've found the stream. I'm going to make it public, but it's a second live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and see if I can combine the two somehow. Should I do that?
exciting. This is almost as exciting as the event.
Are you telling me you're gonna do this, or you ask me if you should? Because I don't want to give advice on this.
All right. So I
But
just
hey, you know
did.
what? Okay, so
Mhm.
you just did.
So now what I just need to do is find it and then share it.
Okay, cool. And so Randy, like something else like that could be just very simple would be Optimus, picking up a few boxes, putting in the back of the Cybertruck.
Yeah,
You know,
and
so
pushing the tonneau cover button so that it closes. That'd be good.
yeah, and then closing the back. Yeah, no, yeah, I mean that. Yeah, it could be like, yeah, there's lots of room in the front. It's this amount of, cubic, the volume of it, and you put like a cooler in there, and it's just Optimus putting it in there. Like,
Maybe maybe Optimus could do the entire presentation of all the specs. You'd have to have a voiceover right now, unless they've given Optimus a
Grok.
voice.
It's Grok. Grok
It's
speaking.
Grok. Grok is the voice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What if that happened? Grok is what became like this, brain of intelligence, and it took over all of the Optimuses, and the Optimuses were like its slaves. That would be that's like what's that movie? Oh, help me out. With Will Smith.
Oh, I'm the worst on this.
iRobot.
Yeah.
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 So I'm curious, going back to stock. So I actually tweeted about this, I think on Monday or Monday. Yeah, I think it was Monday. But where I said, like, this is the first time I've ever seen there not be a run up to an event, an earnings call, or whatever. You know, I almost feel like that's kind of bullish. Like, do you guys think so? I mean, it's like I remember being a Apple investor, it was kind of the same way. It was like anytime things didn't run up into an Apple something, it tended to be pretty good. Like that didn't happen often, but when it didn't, it tended to be a pretty good thing.
Yeah, I mean, you watch this stuff as carefully, I'm sure, as I do. I can't really explain what's going on right now, why the Mag 7 are all down today, except that if we go off a little bit into the macro, I'm wondering if we're starting to see the rotation. We've seen a little. The Russell has been up a little bit over the last week or so. The Dow is up and the Nasdaq down today. I mean, a lot in both cases. We might be finally seeing the rotation that I've been talking about for 2 months on my channel. You've got to have a rotation sometime into the rest of the broad market if you're going to have this bull continue. And maybe this is the beginning of it. And I speculated this morning that maybe the Ford and General Motors announcements that they're not going to go out of business this year, at least because of the strike, might have given some I don't know, some confidence to the old industries.
Real quick, Herbert, I just saw Jesse pop up on Farzad's for a second, and then it went back to nothing.
I've got it set up now. I'm just moving it over to that channel. And I'm just trying to figure out how to do redirect. Do you know how to do redirect?
I do not. But you keep doing that, and I'll talk with Randy, and we'll keep everyone else entertained in the meantime. Or at least we'll do our best.
It would not be good if Jesse figured this out and Herbert couldn't.
Yeah.
This would be sad.
Yeah. And just real quick, reading through some of the comments here. Frank wants Herbert to smile. So smile, Herbert. It's a happy day. It's a happy day.
I'm happy, very happy. Thank you.
And
oh my God.
And we got a super sticker from Regilo. I think that's how you say it. I don't have my glasses on, so apologies. I know I look young, but I'm old. And sorry, maybe wrong crowd. We got DRK here. It says Brighter with Herbert Farzad. Looks like they are starting. And hey, from Australia.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so here we are, guys. So what's happening is I'm going to do a redirect. It's going to be going right to the other channel where we're going to be able to stream the other guys. Let's do that now, okay? Everybody should stay on your screen, and please stay, and we'll be redirected, and we'll be watching all the same shows that Farzad and the others are doing.
Where's the drum roll?